Pretend to be my daughter's fiancé, the older woman said. I replied, do I have to kiss her? I didn't expect my life to pivot over a lukewarm cup of coffee at a bus station. I was killing time between shifts, scrolling my phone, when an older woman slid into the seat across from me like she'd already decided I was part of her story. She wore a faded blue coat, her hands trembling just enough to tell me life had been heavy lately. She looked straight at me and said, pretend to be my daughter's fiancé. I blinked. Once. Twice. Excuse me? Her eyes were fierce, almost desperate. Just for tonight. I laughed nervously, thinking it was a joke. Do I have to kiss her? For the first time, she smiled. But it didn't reach her eyes. No, she said softly. You just have to stand there. And mean it. That should have been my cue to leave. Normal people don't agree to pretend engagements with strangers. But something in her voice, thin, cracked, holding back years, kept me rooted to the plastic chair. She introduced herself as Margaret. Her daughter was Emily. And tonight was Emily's birthday. She's turning 34, Margaret said, fingers twisting together. Her father's side of the family will be there. They've always had opinions. About her job. Her choices. Her being alone. I nodded slowly. I didn't know Emily, but I knew that look, like you're already bracing for judgment before anyone even opens their mouth. Margaret leaned closer. Emily's kind. Too kind. She gives pieces of herself away and pretends she doesn't notice. Tonight, I just want her to walk into a room and feel chosen. That word hit me harder than I expected. Chosen. I'd spent most of my life feeling like the extra option. The guy people liked, but never needed. The one who showed up, helped out, then quietly stepped aside. So I said yes. Emily lived in a modest house on a quiet street, the kind where porch lights glow warm and neighbors know each other's dogs. When Margaret rang the doorbell, my heart was pounding like I was about to take an exam I hadn't studied for. Emily opened the door, and froze. She was beautiful in a real way. No dramatic makeup, just tired eyes and a genuine smile that flickered into confusion when she saw me. Mom, she said slowly. Who is this? Margaret didn't hesitate. This is Daniel. Your fiancé. The silence was brutal. Emily stared at her mother, then at me. Her cheeks flushed red. My what? I raised both hands slightly, surrender style. Temporary, I blurted. I mean, hi. I'm Daniel. Nice to meet you. Emily looked like she might explode. Or cry. Or both. Margaret touched her arm gently. Just for tonight, sweetheart. Emily's jaw tightened. She turned to me. Did she threaten you? No, I said honestly. She just asked. Emily exhaled sharply and stepped aside. Fine. Come in. But if this turns into a disaster, I'm blaming both of you. The house smelled like vanilla and something baked with too much love. A few relatives were already there, aunties, cousins, people who smiled politely but scanned me like they were reading a resume. So, one man said, eyeing me over his glasses. What do you do? I answered. Then another question. Then another. Emily stood next to me, arms crossed, clearly annoyed, until someone said, well, it's about time you settled down. I felt her stiffen. Without thinking, I said, actually, she wasn't waiting. She was building a life she loved. The room went quiet. Emily looked at me like she'd just heard something in her own voice she forgot she had. As the evening went on, something shifted. Emily relaxed. She laughed. She told stories. She stopped shrinking. At one point, she pulled me aside into the kitchen. You're surprisingly good at this, she said. I shrugged. I mean what I say. She studied my face. Why? I hesitated. Because everyone deserves someone in their corner. Even for one night. Her eyes softened. Later, after cake and forced smiles and polite applause, Emily found me on the porch. Thank you, she said quietly. You didn't have to do this. I know, I replied. But I wanted to. She nodded, then surprised me by hugging me. It wasn't romantic. It was grateful. Human. Inside, Margaret watched us through the window, her hand over her mouth. Before I left, she pressed an envelope into my hand. I can't take this, I said quickly. It's not money, she replied. It's a letter. For you. I opened it later, alone. She wrote about watching her daughter grow up in a world that measured worth by milestones. About how lonely it felt to see Emily doubt herself because of other people's expectations. You reminded her who she is, Margaret wrote. And you reminded me that kindness still exists between strangers. Weeks passed. Life went back to normal. Then one evening, my phone buzzed with a number I didn't recognize. Emily, this is awkward, but would you like to get coffee? For real this time. I smiled. We met at the same bus station cafe. Same bad coffee. Better conversation. We talked about everything. Failures. Dreams. Fear of not being enough. At one point she said, you know what the weirdest part is? What? For one night, pretending to be loved, showed me I deserved the real thing. I looked at her, really looked at her, and felt something settle into place. This time, I said carefully, I wouldn't be pretending. She smiled. And this time, it reached her eyes. Sometimes, kindness starts as an act. Sometimes, it becomes a truth. And sometimes, all it takes to change a life is someone willing to stand beside you, and mean it.